walking home, looking at the tree. Got the feeling that they were looking back at me. So excited 'cause we made it. Not of the usual kind. The high of the night. No, I won't go mine. 'Cause in my life, the high is the all. The blue all. 'Cause in my life, the high is always only say, come my way. Only say, the high is always only say. Suddenly, I could read his mind. The blue hole, the constant surprise that
There we go. That was supposed to be queued up and just slide over like absolutely no issues at all. But Evidently, that didn't happen. This producer needs a producer, but it's okay because we figured it out. What's up, everybody? It's Monday. Yes, I know you're used to seeing me on a different screen throughout the week. I told y'all I'll be back. I told y'all I'll be back home and just, getting in some good trouble. Back on my stage, back in my space. Not my space that was owned by Tom, for those that only had one friend on Facebook, but MySpace technically, but no, literally MySpace. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that's important. I think curating a space that you typically get to, just like exist and put your fingerprint on. I think that's important. What's going on, y'all? What's up? How y'all doing? Okay, we got Instagram in the chat. We got Facebook in the chat. Awesome. All right. Yeah, guys, this is going to be fun. This is going to be a very, what's the word? Hopefully the tension gets resolved in this conversation, because when we talk about stuff like mental health in the church, when we talk about stuff like intersectionalities in the church, people tend to be, I don't know, triggered, I guess. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? There's not a demon in this chat, I promise. It's just two black individuals ready to have a deep and very important conversation. But before I ruffle any more feathers, I'm going to drop the intro real quick. Let's get it popping.
They threw my ancestors in the ocean. Now we became the new wave, and we're about to drown this system.
It's funny because my guest this evening said that my forehead is looking exceptionally radiant. I don't know how much I appreciated that. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Kid Casper podcast. I'm your gracious, beautiful, blessed, beloved, and black host, the kid that they call Casper. The KID in Kid Casper stands for that king in development. I'm that menace with the melanin. Reject me as I am, as long as he is still relevant. The intro is, what's wrong with the intro? I thought the intro was cool. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just felt like, look, man, there's some religious folk in this world. What's going on, everybody? I am that nerdy black pro theologian. And I say pro theologian because there's a lot of people that don't really read their word nowadays, but then they feel a need to give their unprofessional, opinion. But yeah, man. This is dope. Christian raptivist, yes, rapper / activist. Like, I really, really love Jesus, but I'm super far from a pacifist. You know what I'm saying? My mouth gets me in trouble sometimes. And luckily, the person that I also have with me this evening, I have the impression that her mouth also gets her in trouble sometimes. But I don't know. We will soon tell. You know what I'm saying? This evening at 7:13 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I have a mental health advocate in this space. She's an aspiring counselor. She's a daughter. She's a friend. She's a sister. She's a God-fearing woman herself. What other things can I say about her? She's my local cynic, right? Like, if I need somebody to bounce cynicism off of, next to the pew at church, that's my sister in Christ that I have today, this evening. You know what I'm saying? So everybody, I bring to the stage. Where's my drum roll button? I don't have a drum roll button, but it's okay. Everybody, I have Sister Nikenji. What's going on, everybody?
Hello.
There we go.
Audience of 4. Hello.
Dang, don't call it wow. Audience of 4 is nuts.
Hey, I had to break the ice somehow.
Wow,
break the ice somehow. I was about to say audience of 1. You should be happy I said 4,
Wow, what's going on, everybody? What's going on, Sydney? How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. You were worried about your lighting at first, but we seem to be both doing all right. And we're part of the we're part of the forehead club. So if it if it acts up, you know what I'm saying, the lighting will be balanced.
I feel like my forehead is regular sized, so I don't think I'm part of the forehead club.
I mean,
if you're gonna say it, say it with
denial is not a healthy trait to have, considering we're, two counselors in training in here. My Lord. But Sister Nikenji, Sydney, thank you for accepting my invitation to I would say curate this space with me on this pretty I'll say tense subject matter. Not tense for us because frankly this is what
Yeah,
we do.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
thank you. You should be, you get your applause again. Thank you for joining me in this space, man. I really, really
You're
appreciate it.
welcome. I love that. I like the Well, if you could, okay. I'm happy that you invited me on here.
For
And like you
sure.
said, I'm not. Yeah. What do you mean? I'm happy. And I honestly, you saying that it was like a tough conversation. My goal is to make it not tough because we need to talk about untough situations, especially in Black community. We always have tough situations, but all of a sudden, when it comes to mental health, everyone wants to shrug their shoulders and move on. So I'm happy
For
about this.
For sure, for sure. So yeah, so for those that don't know you, because you got some people that are already chopping it up in the chat. Why don't you introduce yourself to the audience? Who is Sydney Nikenji by chance?
Okay, well, I'm Sydney Kenji, like kid said. Um, I'm a woman. I am a aspiring counselor. That's pretty much. I mean, yes, I mean that's pretty much. I'm a graduate of Towson. There we go. Don't
I
have a
didn't know you
lot
went
of
to
credentials
Towson.
on me. Yeah. Oh, you didn't know?
No, I didn't know you
You
went to
know,
Towson. Okay, so that
I shouldn't
helps.
have asked that. Honestly, I don't tell anyone anything. I went to Towson,
Okay,
and I'm a graduate, so that's me. That's like all I can say. If I'm honest.
gotcha. Well,
I mean, that's relevant. That's relevant.
we got some icebreakers for you. This is where
Period.
I usually ask the super intense I would say like the moral piercing question. So, have you
Period.
watched any of my shows by chance at all? Yes, no.
I watch your shows over my dad's shoulder,
Okay.
if
Oh,
that makes sense.
I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So,
No, like, cause my dad will be watching, and then I'll like stay, cause so you said like a somewhat good point that catches my ear, I guess, and I'm like, oh, what's going on? What are you guys
gotcha.
talking about?
All right
Yeah,
then.
so I watched
Okay then.
that.
All right then. So my first
Yeah.
question on the Kid Casper podcast is: if you had to pick a favorite Disney princess, who would your favorite Disney princess be today, madam?
Tiana, no questions. I love Tiana. Hardworking woman. I mean, what she said, I like. Yeah, you gotta work hard to get what you want. That's true. That's life. You
Okay.
know,
It's
like
not
every
because she
other
was.
woman had to.
It's
What?
not because she's
Huh?
black, right? Because your father
That is
asked that same
also.
question.
That's also. Yeah, she is one of the only colored people in the roster, but also, just she works hard and like, yeah, and she has a great voice. And yeah, and I love the story. It was a
Okay.
good story. I like.
Okay. And question number 2 on the Kid Casper podcast is, and this will let me know how much of a nerd you are or whether or not you're cooler than
Oh,
me. If you had
oh,
to
I'm such a
pick,
nerd.
oh, okay. If you had to pick a starter 6 Pokemon set to go against the Elite Four, what are your 6?
Okay, so I'm gonna start with Pikachu because,
Of
of course,
course.
that's the main character. Um, Charizard's my favorite, so I'm gonna put Charizard on there. I'm also gonna put Snorlax because I feel like people sleep on Snorlax. No pun intended, but I think
Wow.
they sleep on Snorlax. So I'm gonna put Snorlax on there. That's 3, right? And then Gengar. I like the way he looks, so I think I'm gonna put Gengar.
Okay.
Um, uh, what other? Oh, good. There's like others. I can't
You got 2
remember
more.
their names.
Come on now,
I
get your
got
life
2.
together. You got 2 more.
My life on Pokemon. Look, I was thinking of Jigglypuff isn't gonna do any. Mewtwo. Yeah, I'm putting that on there
Okay.
because Mewtwo will destroy everybody. So I'm putting Mewtwo on there. Um, there's one more that I'm thinking about that I can't remember the name of. It's like this giant fit water type Pokemon that looks like a dragon. His head is
Gyarados?
his. I think he
Is he
looks.
blue?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah. The guy
Gyarados.
that looks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah,
See,
yeah,
my
yeah.
nerd is not in Pokemon, but my nerd is there.
Okay. I was about to say, and this will let me know if you watch anime. Is Gengar considered like the Orochimaru of like the Pokemon race? Like,
Oh
is that a
my
thing?
yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yes,
just
and I also watch anime, so we're speaking my language.
gotcha. All right then. So we're hopefully we get along today, as if we don't get along off camera at all. But I think we should. I think this will be all right today. So yeah, Sister Sydney. Like I said, thank you for stepping in this space with me. A lot of why I started this podcast, specifically, back in 2020, I started this podcast as a way to interview other artists, different creatives that I have, equity with and stuff like that. But then obviously the pandemic took place. Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd took place. And I just felt as if it was necessary to not only hold space and have conversations that the church doesn't have, but also just humanize one another, right? Because I think in a lot of ways in the body, we've gotten away from that. We've gotten more into like how to diagnose a problem opposed to like administering the medicine. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Mhm.
So that's what my goal is today. So if you could, when we talk about me being the kid, king in development, could you tell me about the earliest stages of a Sydney Nakinji in the earliest days of your development? Who would that be by chance?
Uh, Man, not the person that you see here. I was, I am quite introverted normally. Um, it was even worse back then. Um, let's see, because I'm over here trying to think like Sydney in development. Sydney in development was obviously not doing okay. So it took me a long time to get here. Sydney in development was way too into herself to the point where she was her mental health was declining rapidly. I don't know. So that's that. I also was learning how to not I didn't have to be liked. I was learning that being liked wasn't really all that great because of the spaces I was in. So that was something that I was developing. Um I mean, yeah, socially awkward, mental health declining, trying not to be liked or trying not to feel like I need to be accepted or liked to be, myself, that sort of thing.
Okay. When you
Yeah.
say when you say declining or when you say not doing so good, what do you mean
hmm
by that? If you don't mind me asking, like what were things or in that season of your life that you were battling with specifically?
Uh Depression, definitely.
Okay.
Anxiety, because they're kind of hand in hand, as you know. Um Suicidal ideations, definitely. And then fear of being not accepted. Um like a whole honestly, the majority of it was depression and anxiety. And the anxiety was around acceptance and who I was as a person. Because I think when I was younger, it was kind of challenged, like, who are you as you instead of out of your friends? And yeah, that was definitely something I was battling with.
That makes sense. For sure, for sure. I think a lot of times, especially for us in our community, whether woman or man, boy or girl, it's very difficult to knows one's like identity or place in this world, and it doesn't have something to do with like our oppression, our trauma, the turbulence that we face, and in this case, friends. Did you have a sense of, and I don't want to say mistaken identity, but like a sense of like not knowing what your identity with when it comes to your family by chance?
Oh yeah. I love my parents dearly, but they were very strict. So I didn't feel like I could show my true identity for a very long time. So if I was to put it in a sense, it would be robotic. Like I felt like I had to be that way because my parents are strict. And as I grow older, I understand because this world is crazy. But back then, I really couldn't. I felt like I didn't have, couldn't show my identity, or it took me a little bit to reach there because of that fact, you know?
No, that makes sense.
Yes.
I'm curious, with all that, how did we get to this place where I don't know how to describe it. Like, what about specifically when it came to mental health? How did that become something that you wanted to get involved with and not only be a voice in that space, but be an advocate more so?
I fell in love with psychology in high school. I remember it was COVID and we were all online, and I was placed in the psychology course. And I loved it. Like I really, really did. And so I went into AP Psych. And I was like, wait, I want to know, because before this, pause, before this, I didn't know what I wanted to be. And I was like bouncing around a whole bunch of places for a very long time. And then psychology hit. Um, and I love psychology. So I was like, whatever, I'll get that. Let me see if I want to do that as a career. Let me see if I want to major in that. Took AP Psych, loved it even more. And I was like, all right, I guess I can go to college for this. And then that's when I went to college, it sort of like deepened my respect and love for psychology. And I would talk to mainly my mom about it because she had the most amount of questions. And I would talk to her about it, and she like validated what I was learning about. So that gave me more confidence and advocating for it in more ways than one. So I think the space that I was given in college definitely helped me advocate and be a part of that space. Definitely.
Okay. And, it's one thing to. I feel like I've been more so in the place of advocacy more before I was like, oh, yeah, I could like get paid for this to like hear people talk about their stuff, you know what I'm saying, and unpack their things. When did you know you wanted to make it a career specifically?
Um, the moment I realized it could be a career is when I wanted to make a career. I didn't know psychology could be a career that I could make something off of. So when I went through with high school and they told me about a whole bunch of careers and things, I was like, oh, that sounds interesting, right? And then I went online because I was on social media at the time, and I was seeing a whole bunch of psychology careers, and then I saw like, oh, the friend group, and then one of the people in that friend group was like the therapist friend, and I went to my friends. I was like, hey, would you consider me this? They were like, yeah, and I was like, great, let me do that. So that's when I went into the career.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Um, I'm curious. I wanted to go back a tad bit when it comes to because I know your mom, right? And and I know your mom in a sense of like, of some form of like a spiritual mother and stuff like that. But I didn't have to grow up with her, right? I don't know how
Mhm.
lovely she is, you know what I'm saying, outside of Deaconess Nikenji to me. Um,
Right,
you said
right.
your mom like asked questions when it came to you getting into this field. What do you think that was about, and what do you think that did for you when it came to I would say like just like interrogating not so much your convictions, but your interests and all that.
It honestly, it made me want to delve deeper into the subject because I didn't want, if she was asking questions, I wanted to know what I was talking about. So I delved deeper into the subject, and then the questions she would ask would be more or less like, um, it started as, oh, what are you learning in school? And then I would tell her, and then she got more into it, and then she would ask, oh, where do you think you fit? And I'd be like, oh, I think I fit here. And it's like, do you want me to tell you where I think you fit? She'll be like, yeah. And that's kind of how that kind of came to be. But yeah, it's like the main questions. And then another question that she always asked me was like, do you know what you want to do with this career? Like, will it make you money? She always asked me that. And I'm grateful for her asking me that because, yeah, like, that's important. Will it make me money? And it will. So, yeah, she wanted to make sure that I was on track and that I knew what I was doing. And then the more questions she asked, she got deeper into the subject herself. And she did her own research on it. And then after my mom got into it, my dad got into it, surprisingly. And yeah, that's like, That's kind of how my mom questioned me and, helped me out with my own, definitely help with research because I love to research. So that helped me out with that. But yeah,
Okay. The reason I asked that
yeah.
question is because it's gonna like parlay into my next question because
Hmm.
I know you in the space of church, right? And I also
Right.
know how I know specifically like when it comes to because I feel like I know your parents a lot better than I know you. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, that
know
makes
your
sense.
dad's
Yeah.
testimony, I've gotten to hear your mom's testimony, in
Hmm.
bits and pieces. But I don't really know you as well as I would like to, right? You know what I'm saying? To the point where I'm like, huh, I haven't had Sid on yet. I haven't interrogated Sid yet. That's got to
Not
change. You know what I'm saying?
interrogated.
Yeah, of course. Hey, sometimes it feels like a grilling. Shoot, we just don't waterboard
uh,
each other. So when it
Goodness,
comes to
not Law and Order.
so when it comes to specifically, the things that you've been through and you've dealt with, how did one how did one discover their relationship with Jesus? And how did you not only establish that, but also maintain that, through your life?
I That's honestly I have to give to my parents because I I've been in the church all my life, and I remember being like 7 years old and having a conversation about like salvation, and I remember doing that, and then honestly the rest of was a blur until baptism day. I remember that because I mean I got dunked and that was scary, but I remember
Not dunked.
that. I'm being so serious. Like I just heard muttering from my pastor, and then I was in the water, and then I got back up, and then I walked, and people were singing, and that's all I remember. But then, and then staying in the church because I was dragged to church basically for a while. They put me in Bible study that helped keep me in the faith, and they encouraged my growth most definitely, and they continue to encourage it to this day. And that's like the main reason as to why, like my walk with Jesus, how it happened, how it's going. It's definitely there's definitely some ups and downs in there because there were, of course, I was a teenager at one point, so I was like, why do I have to keep doing this? And then I like grew out of that transition, got back into it, and that was a whole thing. So I would say, yeah, that's like my faith journey in a very small book nutshell.
Gotcha. Um,
Mhm.
who discipled you? Because I don't typically know. Like, so a little backstory on me. I told your pops this. I was going to hell on a scholarship. I was an atheist until I was 19 years old. I was with gasoline draws on. You know what I'm saying?
Not gasoline.
Specific. Hey, listen. Specifically though, much like your father said on the other episode, he said that when he started having, I think it was his mom's boyfriend, and when he had like an assortment of men, he had a starting five of men that came into his life. He saw a significant change. Who was that for you specifically? Like who discipled Sydney coming up?
Um, that's a that's a good question. Mainly because I am a stubborn individual,
Really?
as
I never
in,
noticed. Interesting.
oh, oh my goodness.
Shoot.
I am a stubborn individual, and that includes people discipling me. As in, like, my sort of thinking was, you're not gonna tell me what to do. You're not gonna act like you know more than me because I'm gonna know more than you at the end of the day. That was kind of my way of thinking. And then, like I said, I was in that church my entire life. So people would, I guess, try to mentor me, and I would listen. Of course I would. But, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, my parents tell me the same thing. So I think when it comes to discipling, I would say honestly my mom, because she knows me the best and she knows my stubbornness. So she would kind of like force me into it. Like there would be times when she would like trap me in a car and start talking. I'm being
What?
so serious. I'm being so serious. It was during COVID. I was in the craziest depressive slump I think I've ever experienced.
Mm-hmm.
Because that depressive slump was, I loved quarantine. Loved it. Now, I'm an introvert, love not having to go anywhere.
Not loving
But
quarantine.
I didn't have to go anywhere and I didn't have to see anybody. It was great. But the thing is, a lot of what I've been putting in the back burner like hit me like a school bus. So then I went through like 2 years of depression.
Mm.
And my mom noticed, and she kind of, that's when she trapped me in the car and basically forced me to talk and help me out via via using the Bible, the word, helping me, praying for me and things like that. And that definitely helped me. But it was basically my mom kind of like, you know, because I wouldn't listen to anything else. I wouldn't listen to other people.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's all props to my mom. My mom definitely mentored me.
Okay. I'm curious. I'm curious about what you said because part of what you and me do is like we have to notice the things people say, but also the things that like they weren't trying to say, but they end up saying anyway in some ways.
Right,
So I
via
want
body
to
language.
I want to lift the dirt off of one thing you said. You said that you thrived in quarantine because you didn't have to deal with anybody, you didn't have to engage in any with anybody. However, there was things that you were putting off. I think you said for 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, that just started manifesting in a lot of ways. If you don't mind sharing with me as well as the audience, what were those things that you were putting off that essentially came back to visit you? What were those things?
Visit me, more like punch me in the face, like
Well, you don't want to talk about you got hit
nasty.
by a school bus. I was just using some imagery.
Imagery is, if you know Matt from Wii Sports, that guy who I was up against him. If you want imagery,
My lord.
but the stuff that I was putting off was my entire life, really, because I didn't really allow myself to think for myself for a long time. Being in the space that I am in, it's kind of hard for a kid like me to think for myself. I went to privileged time. I went to a private school, and they kind of tell you where to go, what to think, stuff like that.
Hold on. Private school? Hold on.
Yeah,
I got listen,
private
I got
school.
I got your mom and your dad's number. I could call them right
Privilege
now.
time.
Private school? Lord have mercy. Go on.
Yeah, anyway. So obviously they were on my neck for everything. Couldn't really think for myself, right? And then the church that I was in, my mom was, she was very into home training. I wasn't really thinking then either, if I'm honest. I kind of just went where I was supposed to go. That's it. I walked, I did, I talked when I was told to. However, the things that was happening to me and the things that people were saying to me didn't really hit me until COVID, because I was doing a lot of out of school activities and I never sat down or like I don't even know if it sat down, laid down and like thought about my life until COVID. Like sat down and really had to think about it until COVID, really. So that was more or less what punched me in the face. It was like, wow, I didn't. Oh, and then of course high school was it was a whole nother beast, because man, my high school is crazy. But yeah, I kind of like
Now,
my
did you go
entire
to
life.
private school? Did you go to private school for high school as well?
No, it was public.
Oh, so I know where you went. Okay. Go
Yeah,
because I
you
grew
know,
up in Edgewood as
maybe.
well. So yeah. I knew where you went.
No,
Gotcha.
I grew up in Bel Air. I'm in Bel Air. What you mean?
What?
Yeah.
Oh, so that's a whole different beast. What was it like growing up in Bel Air? Like at least going to school in Bel Air?
Oh, it was not fun. Because the thing is, I've heard this one thing that um is taking over my algorithm, my For You page on TikTok, is being black in suburban areas. And when I tell you that needs to be studied, it needs to be studied. Because that school was what? You
No,
what's
nothing.
going
I didn't
on?
say nothing. I just listen, man. I look because I know the story, but most of the people I went to school with look like me. I just also grew up
Oh
in the
no, it
suburbs. You know what I'm
was
saying? So
yeah,
yeah.
it was the complete opposite for me. I was the only black kid in class. If I was lucky, there would be two more people. And when I was in high school, that high school was so racist. And it was terrible because nobody did anything. And I felt like I was alone, especially in high school. Like, I had one other friend. She's still my friend. She's my best friend right now. I had one friend one person that I could actually call a friend. Everybody else I couldn't trust. But the things that I saw in those hallways, it was like you would think we went back to the daggone 50s. Like it was like racist and privileged, and like I felt like nobody knew anything about common sense. And it was just terrible. That was like that was my high school experience.
Gotcha. So
Mhm.
I'm I'm curious, and I had somebody. I think me and your pops talked about this one time, and we were talking
Uh-huh.
about how, because he grew up in Baltimore, if I remember correctly, and we were
Yes.
talking a lot about how, the subject of like integration and stuff like that. Specifically, when it
Mhm.
came to integration, it was like, oh, let's make it so like black kids could go to like their schools, right? And the subject
Right.
matter that I talked about with him, it wasn't on the mic, but I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm curious about this. It's like, how good was integration really for us? And he was like, what you mean? I was like, because we went to their schools, we got taught by their teachers, we had
Yeah.
to interact
Very
with their
much.
students.
Mhm.
However, like, just because we get added to the roster doesn't mean that you necessarily have to have any responsibility for us, right?
Absolutely.
So when
Mhm.
it comes to, because I don't know what that's like. I didn't go to a PWI. I got a scholarship from Liberty University. That's the closest I got because it's in a little town called Lynchburg, Virginia. My God. Yeah,
Lynchburg.
yeah. Well, it's another story for another day.
Yeah, for
But
real.
but
I don't have the
specifically,
capacity for that.
no, listen. I thought I would start seeing black folks swinging on trees like Christmas ornaments. But for
Oh,
me
bush meat
though,
fruits. Oof.
yeah, Lord. For me though, I don't know what it's like to spend a lot of my childhood with people that, at least in school in the scholastic space, with people that don't look like me. Um, did your parents know how hard that was for you by chance? What was their responses to like the challenges that you faced in those schools?
If I'm honest, let me be honest, I don't tell my parents much. You can ask my dad. I keep my cards close to the chest. He says that's what he says. He says I keep my cards close to my chest, and I do with everybody, including my parents. And this included high school. Um, I didn't tell him much. If I told him something, it's been weighing on my heart because it was that racist for like weeks. Um, but yeah, I didn't honestly. I didn't really tell him what happened until a year ago. I think
Yikes!
at least the full brunt of it.
How
I,
old are
I didn't
you?
feel like I.
I know you're not supposed to ask black women that. How old are you?
It's fine. I'm 22. I'm
Oh,
22.
oh, you're a fetus. Go, keep going. Go on.
Goodness. Anyway. I don't like I didn't tell them until like a year ago. I told them if it was like I said, if it was weighing them out for weeks at the time, I would tell them. But they only know about 2 or 3 instances when there's been hundreds. So that if you can tell, I'm such an open book. Can't you tell? Can't you
Yeah,
tell?
for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Can you
You a
tell?
hard cookie to crack, but sometimes that's a good thing. You can't trust everybody that
No,
you could
absolutely
swap
not.
energies with. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Absolutely not.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So with that in mind, you're dealing with the challenges of going to school, in a PWI, dealing with the stuff you dealt with. I think you said because they work in hand, depression and anxiety. Um,
Yeah.
how what are things that you did at least during that time or that you didn't do during that time that you implement now to nurture yourself, not only spiritually but like mentally? Like what are parameters and safeguards that you put around yourself to make sure you're safe, you know what I'm saying, regardless of where you're at in life?
Uh, One thing that I can give that school is that it forced me. If it, I had to teach that at an early age. I had to teach myself all of those parameters at a very early age. Keeping my head on a swivel. I mean, knowing where I am at all times, knowing who I am at all times. It's like a lot of that stuff I was taught. I had to self teach myself through experience. Self teach myself. I had to teach myself through experiences at that school. So that's one thing. I kind of had to a lot of what I learned as I grew up, I had to unlearn, if that makes sense.
No, I got you.
Because like I had to when I tell you my awareness was on 10, 24/7 because I did not know who was around me. I didn't know who I could trust
Right.
because these people would go with their friends, laugh and yuck it up, and then next thing I know, I'm the target. When
Mm,
in the world did I become part of the picture? You know what I
right.
mean? So like I had to unlearn, especially the anxiety that like filled me because every time I went to that school, I had to like do breathing exercises. It was terrible. I had to um I had to basically prepare myself for the school day. And I don't do that anymore. I kind of just go into a place, do what I do, walk out. Who cares what other people are thinking? So I had to unlearn how who cares what other people are thinking about me, who um who cares what they do, because what they do is what they do. I just have to react to it. How I react to things is something I had to unlearn. And yeah, so like
Meaning what?
how I reacted to some things.
Yeah, you said how you reacted to things you needed to unlearn. What do you mean by that?
I meant honestly, it meant giving people a second chance. Cause I don't give people second chances. Let me
Mm,
be honest. When it comes to relationships, I find it I have a hard time making them, and I have a hard time telling myself that I should keep them. Like I can cut people off really really fast, and that kind of happened because of the school that I was in. I kind of had to learn how to do that
mm.
because if I don't cut people off immediately, someone's going to say something racist behind my back. I don't need that. I really don't. So, giving people grace was definitely something I had to unlearn when it comes to reactions. Okay. Like that's yeah, because like I said, I was introverted. My reactions would have been, oh, you did that? Okay, I'm never talking to you again. And that was it.
Mm.
Like I didn't care. I still don't care for closure. I really didn't care for it then. um, like I said, I wouldn't give people grace at all, even if what they did was a mistake. It was like you did one thing, you're gone.
Mm.
And at that point, when I was in high school, I was looking for it too. Like I was looking for the mistake, so I could cut them out.
Oh, you were okay.
I
No
that's
judgment.
kind of that's how I
I'm
was.
not. No
That's who
judgment.
I
I'm just listening. You know.
was.
No, I got you.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of who I was. So I mean, I had to unlearn that. Give people grace. One mistake isn't the end of it. One mistake isn't their full personality.
Right.
You're okay. I kind of had to learn how to tell myself that I'm okay, especially when it comes to relationships and social interactions.
Now, do you think a lot of that? No, I'm just asking. Do you think a lot of
Hmm.
that became from a place of not feeling safe in a lot of spaces, whether within yourself or the environment you were in, or it was more like a, as you said, it was a trauma response. Like, I'm not playing with you folk. Y'all niggas got me chopped up. I'm not even gonna go here with y'all. What do you think
I
that
mean,
that
yeah.
was for you?
I would definitely say a mixture of both. Like, it was definitely a trauma response, but it was also like I didn't know who I was.
Mm,
I honestly didn't know who I was until middle of college. So that was that. And I didn't want anyone to tell me who I was. Because that was
mm,
another thing in high school where those people had absolutely no interactions with Black people outside of social media and maybe working with a Black person. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm. The DEI
So
hires,
they
right?
would,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gotcha.
yeah, yeah, for real. The DEI hires.
Right,
And they would they would try to force a caricature or a one singular pretty racist identity on me, right? and
right.
I and I hate being put in a box. I hate being told what to do. So it was more or less like I'm not gonna accept that identity because that's what you expect. So that was that. Of course, that elongated my journey to finding myself. But yeah, I would say that's a mixture of both trauma response and not finding and not identifying or not finding my identity.
My bad, I was muted. Nah, I got you on that because to give some credence to that, I feel like a lot of times for us, and when I say us, I mean those of African descent. a lot of times, especially in a world where it wasn't designed for us, it was designed by us in some ways because we built this doggone country. But
Period.
to not necessarily have a space in mind we feel safe in, I don't think people realize that, especially for like us as kids, like, fam, like, I was like a habitual liar as a kid, right? A lot of that was no, listen, shorty, listen, you're not hearing me. Like, when I say like I would lie about stuff in a sense of like, oh, it's a easy truth to tell. I could easily just like cop to it. But there was too many times where I did not feel safe in certain spaces, whether it be at home as well as in like scholastic spaces. It was damaging to the point because I really caused a lot more trouble for myself. And when I got older and I, sought therapy myself, I was like, yeah, I used to lie all the time. I don't really know why that is. Sometimes I kind of struggle with it. And this is like maybe 24 at the time. And my therapist was like, oh yeah, you didn't feel like you could like feel safe enough to tell the truth, even when it came to your parents. Not excusing the lying, but it's like you didn't feel as if that they were doing something that made you feel safe to at least tell them the truth. I'm like, what? You're like, yeah, you're not a habitual liar. You just have trauma. Like, you specifically just don't know what it's like to be in a space that makes you feel safe. So only thing you know to do is like, okay, let me come up with this reality that isn't exactly my own. Because if you had to actually see me in the reality I have to, encompass and, occupy, I might get rejected, It's scary. It's truly a scary, I wouldn't even say realization, a coping mechanism that we have to deal with specifically in our community.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I would lie all the time. So
My God.
I would lie all the time. My lying, it wouldn't be. Yeah, no, I was about to say, oh, it wouldn't be like to my parents. Yeah, it would be. It would be. Um, yeah, I would agree with what your therapist at the time said.
Yeah. That white
Yeah.
woman kind of pulled my baby hairs. I didn't really appreciate it, but hey, she she got me on the right path for the most part. Yeah. Amen to that. So, what does, and we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes. I got you.
Of course,
What
of course.
does following Jesus look like beyond attending church for you? Because you yourself even said like you felt as if that you were well, I won't use the word felt. I'll say felt. You felt as if that you were forced coming up, in the early stages of your development. How is that something that you were able to nurture now that you have a little bit more of a sense of choice, I would say, in adulthood? What does that look like for you now?
Um, I had to. It. I mean, honestly, now it's kind of just a routine. Like if I'm let me be honest, like going to church is kind of just routine for me now. When it comes to growing in my faith outside of the church, uh I honestly going back into psychology, that kind of helped me out because I would that kind of helped that definitely helped me grow in my faith because I would learn about theories and things and I would be like, oh, this came up here in the Bible too. Let me research that. Let me go into research mode, research that a little bit. So that kind of helped me out. Um, but yeah, like once what helped me with growing my faith outside of the church was finding a bridge that could, you know, put together my love of something and my love of Christ, that
Right.
kind of helped put the bridge together. So yeah, as long as I can research something, once I researched it or whatever I was doing, that definitely helped me.
Yeah. So that skepticism that you had very early, it worked, for good because you're like, no, this doesn't make sense. You looked for the answers, at least, in the word, probably through hours of research in your own time. Like, look, if I can't find, and when you were able to confirm, like, not so much confirm the suspicions, but then also like seek out the clarity where this tension existed for you, it probably did wonders for you as far as security wise. Am I right or am I wrong on that one?
No, you're right about that. That's the thing. Like I love to research and I love proving people wrong. And one thing I also love to do, I love like if someone tells me something, I will research it in front of them. And then if they're wrong about it, it's like, oh, I don't have to listen to you anymore. You know? It's like and I kind of did that with psychology. So that helped me out with both the what is it, the field as well as going to the Bible. So yeah, I would say you're right about that.
Gotcha. And how do you think, like, in the early stages of your own relationship with Jesus, how that shaped how you view yourself?
My confidence definitely grew.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can tell you, if you asked me to be on this podcast a year ago, I would have said no. Um, yeah, like I found who I am in myself. I found true confidence, and I'm now trying to teach younger people what true confidence is. And yeah, like that's kind of how it helped grow me, and like like I keep saying my confidence and like what I yeah, period, confidence.
Gotcha. All right, so we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes. Let me restart my camera real quick. See,
Mm,
I knew this was gonna happen as soon as we got into the heaviness of this
mm.
conversation. So let me restart this real quick. Pay no mind, YouTube. Yes, you're not seeing my face. You're seeing my little sister's face for right now, but that's okay. Yeah, for sure, for sure. So you and me probably talked about this subject matter for about a good, let's see, that one Saturday, that one Friday at Pastor's house. You weren't there, but I was there. And you and me were talking in length for about a good hour after church let out. I think your mom had dance rehearsal at church, and it was
Yeah, we gotta
specifically
fix that up.
about yeah, it was specifically about mental health stigma, or like the stigma on mental health when it comes to the church. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I shared this bump it. It's my podcast. So I shared this encounter that I had with an individual in which they were asking me about, like, oh, like what do you do? What's your career path? And I was like, oh yeah, I do I go to school for counseling, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to school for counseling, as well as I'm a sponsor, I try to give people time to consider when it comes to mental health in certain spaces, and I would like to become like some form of like a consultant, especially when it comes to church, right?
Mm-hmm.
And their response was very, how do I describe this? It was very like old guard, I would say. Like, and I mean like old guard, not in the sense of like old, like they're old. No, it was just very like, it was
It's
just the
like
like, oh, if you just pray it away, like what the F is the problem? Like they didn't say what the F, but like it was just very like, oh yeah, but like what really mental health issues could you have when you have Jesus? In which I pushed back and I was like, so
many.
like when Jesus was asking for this cup to be removed from him, like was that not like anguish? Um he wept even though he knew that his best friend was going to come back to life. Like is that not okay? Um when it comes to like the book Songs of Solomon is a sad boy mixtape. I don't care what anybody says.
Come on now.
Basically, why do you think as if that when we have conversations about mental health in the church, it's so polarizing and dogmatic that it makes the conversations damn near impossible. You know what I'm saying? What do you think
Yeah,
that is?
I feel like there's multiple instances. I will say, uh, psychology has a very racist beginning. So I gotta get that
Oops.
out the way.
Really? I never would
Yeah.
have thought that psychology would have something to do with race.
Oh
Take
my
it, take it
goodness.
away.
Who knows? Who knew? Who knew? Psychology has a racist start. No one will figure it out. But yeah. So psychology, like I said, has a racist start. Um, Black people didn't like psychology for a long, long time. Um, Yeah, and another thing, I don't know if this is gonna ruffle some feathers, but when it comes to psychology, I feel like the church is outdated in that sense. And a lot of people in the church kind of just don't want to learn anything new, you know? And this may not just be church. This could be like older generation or older people in general. Like they have a hard time learning from people that's younger than them because they perceive them as under them. Does that make sense?
No, it does. It definitely does.
So that's like one thing that I feel as
Whoa. What the heck? You still
don't
there?
worry. That was my alarm. Don't worry.
That was your
Don't
alarm,
worry.
man. I was like, man, I was like,
No, I'm telling you.
she's about to expose the fifth dimension. Like,
No. Come back. That
oh,
was my triple arm. Please.
oh
don't,
shoot.
don't mind that. Don't mind that. Don't mind that. Oh no. Oh my god. Oh my
Oh
god.
man.
I was about to get smited for saying the church was outdated. Huh. Anyway.
But nah, you were
That's what
saying
I
that.
think.
Yeah, you were saying that. Like I alluded to, like old guard mentality. It makes it hard for them to. I heard Mark Lamont Hill put it this way. If you've only used a hammer in your life, everything's gonna look like a nail, right? So like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna know. Like, hey, fam. Maybe, instead of a chainsaw, maybe you need a scalpel, right? Like, instead of like a drill, a little screwdriver, a little Allen wrench will do just fine, right? Um,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, because you got the FBI van shut down your feed. Can you
I know.
continue on your point by chance, please?
I know. The SWAT team. Oh my god.
Oh my lord.
Anyway. like that's kind of what I was saying. Like the church is the way older people in the church think is, oh, you're younger, so you have to listen to me. You know, not many people in the church think you have something to say and I should listen to you, especially if you're young. Like if you're young, it's like, oh, you have more life to live, so just shut up and sit there and listen. When it's like I have something to talk about, I have something to say, and I want to say it, and you got to listen because it pertains to you specifically. So like that I feel like when it comes to mental health in the church is that's kind of how it is. There's a hierarchy that is that's been stuck in the church for as long as it existed. So it's kind of hard for people to switch perspectives and switch from being teacher to being the one that's the student.
Right.
A lot of people have a hard time. A lot of older people I feel like have a hard time with that.
Yeah, and I think another thing too is like, fam, let's just be honest, like even just in our community, we're really just now having like these conversations,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Like even if I don't know, like your mommy and your mom and your dad were deacons. I don't know if they let you watch Empire, but like Empire
No.
specifically, there was one of the main characters. So I'm not. Hopefully, I'm not dating myself because you're 22. My God. But
I had
one of
Empire.
one of
I
the
know.
sons on Empire had bipolar disorder, right? And his mom never knew because she was incarcerated for like 15 years. So then when he was having an episode, she was like, "What's wrong with my baby?" They were like, "Oh, he had a manic episode from like, having bipolar disorder." They were like, she said, "Bipolar, that's that white people stuff. What are you talking about?" And it's like, no, why do we think like, look, and I get it because a lot of the things that we don't necessarily get as far as, I wouldn't even say cop outs, a lot of nuances and context are not afforded to us. Like we hear about these like, mass shootings that take place and stuff like that. And when they find the shooter, it's like, oh, well, guys, like he's dealt with depression. It's like, yeah, I get sad too. I just told you the story about I lost one of my buds. I've never wanted to just commit, mass unalivement on people. Like that's not, you know what I'm saying? And that's not to like, that's not to eliminate or just deduce or minimize what anybody goes through, especially upstairs. However, when it comes to us as a people, we are just now really having these conversations. Like we're just not having conversations about like, oh, no, fam, like you have PTSD from like 400 years of oppression. You haven't been here for 400 years, but your people forcibly have had to. So, and you and me belong to a black church, right? And so that was my first time where I was like, oh, we're still in the 60s. Got it. Awesome. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I agree. Like, yeah, it's very outdated thinking, you know? And I understand that this is a new topic and it's like skepticism with the new topic. I understand that, right? I understand. But like you gotta understand, like, this new topic has some stuff in it that I think I wouldn't be talking about it if it wouldn't benefit. I wouldn't if I didn't think that what I'm talking about makes sense, it would have never came out of my mouth. It's like you got to learn. So, like we're always talking about trusting in the Lord, but we got to learn how to trust each other,
Mm,
especially like it's especially in the church. Like older people have to learn how to start trusting younger people. I understand that not every young person is okay to be trusted, but there's some that can be
right,
trusted, and maybe we can start listening to them. I don't know. Suggestion. We can start
right,
listening to the younger people.
right.
Crazy. I know. Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree with what you said.
Yeah. I'll share something with you, and I shared this with you that very weekend that this conversation, if you want to call it a conversation, took place. Not you and me, but me and this individual. And
Right.
so I shared with you, I have bipolar disorder, right? And I remember when I got diagnosed in 2019, I was kind of stuck with, I knew there was like off rip a burden that I had to deal with, but it was one of the first times, especially in the church, where I was like, like they think like there's something like demonic here. So I shared this with a brother in Christ at the time, and me and this individual, we don't really. Sorry guys, me and this individual don't really speak anymore. You know what I'm saying? I protect myself and provide safe spaces for myself. And I shared with him on that Friday, like, yeah, I just found out that like I have bipolar disorder, and like, just, implementing some new things, putting some new tools in my tool bag to essentially navigate in this, this new discovery of myself, right? Said, tell me why I'm minding my business. And I'm going to a Pentecostal church at the time, worshiping. You've met me, I be getting in my biblical bag. I don't really struggle when it comes to when I say I don't, well, everybody struggles, but I have security when it comes to my relationship with God, right?
Mm-hmm.
This brother was probably about your height, right? Maybe a little taller, but I'm 6'3". Paint the picture. Tell me why he comes over. I'm thinking he's just giving me a hug as like brothers in Christ do, right? Just like, oh, wow, like, thanks, brother in Christ. He like grabs the back. Yeah, he grabs like the back of my neck. And like, I'm not even kidding. Like, he literally like grabs the back of my neck and like brings me in. And I'm like, usually we don't hug like this. This is a different type of hug.
Why is he bringing you into his bosom?
Hold
What's going
on. I got you. And he he grabs holy oil. He was better off grabbing Crisco because he was about to get cooked. But
how in the world did he get his hands on oil?
I don't know. GTA. He just pulled it out of his back. I don't know.
What? Yeah.
And he starts praying for me. And out of nowhere, he starts praying over me and praying for deliverance from my dual-mindedness. I'm like, no, hold up.
Dual mind.
Facts.
Ain't nothing dual-minded about that.
Fam, listen. I was like, I just cut it short. I was like, I just broke the anointing of the prayer. I was like, sir, hold on. Excuse me? And he was like, yeah. Mind you, like, if you've been to a Pentecostal church, we worship for like 4 hours. The band's still going. Worship singers are still singing. And I'm like, yeah, fam, you need to step off or like you're going to get like laid out in the spirit. And that's not what I said. I was a lot more not polished back in the day. I was like, Negro, you need to get the F out of my face. And he was like, no, I'm praying for like, because, you're dealing with like a demonic like presence on your
Demonic.
life. I'm like, fam, there's nothing I could have done to have a chemical imbalance like bipolar disorder, right? Like, what are we talking about? But people really believe this ish. People really believe that, like, when you did, like, you spoke on depression. Notice I didn't rebuke you, right? You said that you have anxiety. What do people hit you with? Oh, be not anxious if you have Christ Jesus.
Yeah.
Like,
If you believe in the Lord, you put your
yeah,
worry on him.
yeah,
Well,
for
this isn't
sure.
just some Joe Smo worry. My
Mm-hmm.
heart's pumping and I'm in the bed. What's going on here?
No
You know,
facts.
like,
No facts.
like my heartbeat, my beats per minute is at 90. I'm doing nothing but sitting. That's not worry. That's something is wrong. Like for real,
Yeah.
for real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I got this doggone Apple Watch. I don't know if I told you. No, hear me out. Listen, I got this Apple Watch.
I got you. I'm here.
And I have to
I'm
wear
listening, I'm
this.
listening.
I have to wear this all the time. And my doctor texts me. He's like, you're not wearing your Apple Watch. I don't know what your BPM looking like. Sid, my BPM was at, and I told your father about this, my BPM was at like 172 one day. I'm laying down, mind you. I'm not doing anything. My resting heart rate was at 172. I'm in something called VTech. That's how bad my anxiety was. Fam, a prayer, Tasha Cobbs, Maverick City Music. Yeah, bump all that. I gotta go to the hospital. Like that's what the concern should be. Not whether or not I need to be delivered, because like, no, like your father works in healthcare. Like this science exists for a reason. This medicine exists for a reason. Like there's no reason to have these things in this world and in society if God didn't intend us to use it to even minister or administer medicine to people. What are we talking about?
Actually, and I remember talking about to my mom about this. Like, medicine's there for a reason. It's a resource. If you want to pray about it, the God is not going to crack open the sky, hand of fire coming out, talking about some. I have your depression in my hand, child. There's none of that is happening right now. He's
Right.
gonna give you resources, and those resources is drugs and doctors. I don't know what to tell you. Like that's what we have now. You know, you can pray, but resources also matter.
Yeah. And that's not to say that prayer doesn't work. Just to be very, very clear.
Exactly.
We're not
Right.
saying that. It's just a matter of like therapy and Jesus. Right? Like you and me spoke about this backstage, right? Like you deal with allergies. Fam, talk all that Jesus stuff you talk. Like, fam, you don't take
I'm
your
dying.
Benadryl.
I'm actually dying. My throat is closing as
God
we
would
speak,
call that
and you're praying.
unwise. Our Father in heaven would be like, that is unwise. Like, you know what you deal with. Like, you know what I'm
Father
saying?
God, please give me my medication and
No
call
facts.
an ambulance. Stop praying. Just do something. Pray
No
while you do
facts.
it. I don't care. I'm dying. It's like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And like, and we see instances like this even when it comes to the Bible. Like, when it came to, I love using this example because there's so many layers and nuance to this. But when it comes to that woman at the well, right? People look at it as like, oh, well, she was caught in adultery and like she was getting ready to get sentenced to death. And by law of the land, those men weren't wrong. My question is, where's the dude that she was? Anyway, that's another story for another
Honestly,
day.
I also
hold on,
thought that
we'll
too.
get to that later.
All right.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. But specifically though, because you listen, man. But specifically though, Jesus wasn't concerned. He was concerned about her salvation, right? He was concerned about his relationship with his daughter. Yes. But there had to be a miracle that took place in that moment. It's like, fam, I can't talk to you about having a relationship with my Father in heaven and you about to get stoned to death. If I don't remove the very turbulence you're about to deal with, all that talk about me ain't, what do we talk? Like, God be the glory, but it's like, I can't minister to somebody that's dead though. You know what I'm saying? No, for real. Like, that's just,
No, I
that's
get
real.
it. It's just a funny visual. Is you talking to a corpse, you know?
No, like, for real. Can you imagine if, like, I don't know. I just know a lot more doctors would be getting sued if it was like, hey, man, but like, what does your relationship with God look like, fam? And and I'm having an asthma attack, and it's like, can I get my albuterol, please? That is all I want. That is not to say that's all I want, but that's literally what I need in this next moment. Let's worry about how we can. No, for real. It's like we're laughing about this, but like there's literal tension that people in the body deal with this, because they feel like, because they go through a season mentally that like God has turned their back on them, or God has taken his hand off of their life. And I'm like, that's actually, I would like to think, because your humanity manifests in such a way that shows like, yes, you need God more, but God also shows up in these tools that he's trying to give you as well. What do you say to that by chance?
I mean, yeah, like there's a portion in the Bible. I honestly, it slipped my mind where it is. You may be able to know where it is, but one of his disciples asked. It was in the New Testament. One of Jesus' disciples asked him, "Where are you when I'm going through a hard time?" And then Jesus decides to answer in a parable. He's like, "Well, if you see footprints in the sand, you notice two pairs of footprints." And then you see one pair of footprints. That's not you being alone. That's me carrying you on your back as you walk through this tough time. You know, that's like the. I mean, and that's yeah, like that parable, or the way that Jesus answered it, is like, it kind of helped me out, especially when it comes to mental health and what people talk about. Oh, like, oh, God left me. It's like, no, he was carrying you through it. And while he was carrying you through it, he probably tried to give you some things so that he can
Right.
put you down again, you know? Because Jesus can't carry you through everything. You have to walk on your own, you know? Like, and he's giving you resources to help you out so we can walk together. You know, he doesn't always need you on your back. He doesn't always need
Mm,
you on his back. You can walk on your own, and I'm giving
yeah.
you resources to help you out. Like, for example, if a child is learning how to walk on their own, they're not just going to stand up and walk. The muscles in their legs are not there yet. So they use items and people to help get them to stand, and then they use those same items and people to help learn to walk. That's kind of how I feel like when it comes to Jesus, mental health, and people, I feel like that's kind of the hand in hand
Yeah,
thing. That's kind of how it is, you know?
for sure. You know, like I I think you, I'm not sure if your parents told you, but just to refresh you a little bit, I'm in recovery, right?
Hmm.
I've been sober for 14 years. And like, yes, we
Okay.
talk about giving your life over to a higher power, but there's also practicality things. It's like, give your life to Jesus, but don't drink though. Like, we talk about stuff like triggers, right? Because if you don't know your triggers, how can you know how to deal with certain things and how you cope with your trauma, right? Like, a lot
Right.
of why I used to drink came from like trauma I was trying to suppress. And it's like, but
Right.
if you don't know the emotions that trigger you to drink, if you don't know the memories or the scents or smells and how they manifest in your body and the nervous reaction that you get, how are you able to properly remedy these situations, right? Like, these things are, I
Right.
would like to think, just like when it comes to, oh yeah, um there's certain places I won't go because that's the same place that God delivered me from. That's called wisdom. So no, like, for real. So like, what is the problem when I say these are tools that I put up around myself, knowing where God has had to bring me out of, and avoiding these things, not only avoiding, but also trying to fill up, put some new things in my tool bag so I can properly navigate through these things. Because we can't avoid everything that's hard for us. But I would like to think everybody would like to have some things that would make it at least more bearable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Cause this life is not easy, and we need some things. Like, you can always give praise to God, because at the end of the day, it's Jesus that's helping you through it. But he gave you resources, and it would be stupid if you didn't use them. So
Right.
yeah,
For
like
sure.
that's end of the sentence. He gave you resources. They're right there. Use them, please and thank you.
Right, right, right. So I feel like you kind of already answered this. Um, you know what? Let's go here.
Okay.
Why? So for yourself specifically, I know you said that you dealt with anxiety and depression in the past. Do you deal with this now? Like, do you deal with those emotions now? And is that is it as simple as a lack of faith that you were going through and why you're experiencing these emotions?
Yes, I do experience both depression and anxiety. No, I don't think it's lack of faith
Break that down for me.
because um when it comes to I really don't think it's like I'm trying to like I know what I'm thinking, but I'm trying to say it in a way that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like I guess the pauses. But I go depression still happens.
Mm-hmm.
Still go through slumps. I honestly, if I'm honest, I don't realize I'm in a slump until I'm out of it, but they're not as long. So that's great. But when it comes to like uh losing faith or lost, like I would never say I lost faith. I would never say that it was like small, like I knew that God was with me. I would say it was just harder for him to reach me. Does that make sense?
Mm. No, I got
Like,
you.
let's say, like, if I was going through a depressive state and God wanted to talk to me outside of the depressive state, I would find the clues much easier. But inside of it, it would feel like a whisper. Like, let's say,
Mm.
like, we're talking now. I can hear you, you
Mm-hmm.
can hear me. Depressive state, it would be like a whisper or far away, And when it comes to like how God would show me signs and things, it would have to be way more obvious because I just couldn't hear him. I couldn't see as I used to. I don't that's not the same as losing faith. I don't think that's the same as losing faith. My faith was probably like the exact same.
Mm.
I don't think I lost any faith. It's just depression kind of clouds your mind a little bit to the point where you may not hear as easily as you used to.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then anxiety, I still deal with. And that it's pretty much the same thing, except I feel like that makes my faith a little stronger when it comes to anxiety because
Hmm.
I kind of,
Break that down for me.
okay, let's break it down. Let's break it down. I think because when it comes to anxiety, what I used to be anxious about, I'm not really that anxious anymore. It's more of like just like bursts of anxiousness that kind of consume me at the worst times.
Right.
Not at times where you would think anxiety would come. It's like I am sitting and eating, and all of a sudden I'm feeling hot all over. My heartbeat is going really really fast. I don't. I It's like I'm like looking around. I'm eating. What's going on, right? But then I would like do like a small prayer, like, hey God, help me out here,
No
please,
facts.
please. I can hear my heart beating in my ear. Please help me. And then I think and it would strengthen my faith mainly because I
Mm.
wouldn't know that it was me doing that, or if it was God doing this or it was me, but I would like put down whatever I was doing and I would like kind of like be still,
Mm.
and I feel like that was, I guess, the Lord telling me to do that because I don't know how to be still. I'm on go 24/7. So it's like put down whatever you're doing, stop thinking about whatever you're doing, just shut up and sit down, right? And I would do that. And at first I was like, I've never told myself to do that ever. And then as I got closer to God, it was like, oh, it was you that did that. Oh.
Right.
So I guess that like definitely helped me out with make deepening my faith because it's like I'm not thinking. I can't think straight right now. And here comes God. Hey, let me think for you. Shut up and sit down. And then I'm like, okay, period. Let me do that. And then I do. And that kind of helps me out with my faith, I think.
Yeah, because you're basically saying like, if you were in a crisis, if you will, how could you know what like a remedy looks like? How could you know what healing looks like, right? Yeah, I
Mm,
think that's a safe way to put it, right? Like if you've never been hurt, how do you know what healing feel like? Like for
yeah.
real, right? Like
Yeah.
the metaphor I like to use especially when when I'm doing activism and stuff like that, is I talk a lot about how like, have you ever broken a bone before? I have. I have a bad back, but I've never broken my back before. Thank God. Have you ever
Yeah.
broken a bone before?
No, I have not.
Oh,
I
praise
have
God.
misplaced bones.
We're gonna talk about that another
Dislocated
time.
them. Dislocated
God,
them.
we'll locate them and put
That's
them
what I
back.
meant to say.
Um,
Well,
but did
I
you know
already
that?
did that. I already
Well,
did
thank
that.
God. Praise God. But did you know that when bones break and when they heal, they actually glow brighter and become stronger on like stuff like X-rays and stuff like that, right?
Oh yeah, I
And
did not know that.
so specifically, I feel like when it comes to us as God's children, when we deal with brokenness, I feel like that just is another opportunity in which that like God could like shine a light on our faces, especially after healing has taken place. Right?
Mm,
Why else have when we, you could speak to depression to somebody or minister to somebody that deals with depression better than anybody that's never dealt with depression because you've been broken in that area before. Not to say like
right.
something's wrong with you or you're not of use, but specifically like you can shine a light in dark places because you've been in those dark spaces already. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I think what you said, it's beautiful. I don't think I've never really heard it like that. It's like, I think my anxiety makes me closer to God. And when you put it that way, I was like, oh, please sort this out for me because I don't know what in the world you're trying to say. But nah, when you when you walked me through it, nah, that makes perfect sense. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Like,
you for that.
of course. It's like I can't think. I'm not thinking. Or at least
Mhm.
I'm not thinking or I'm not thinking straight. And no one can stop me from doing that. I'm telling you, people have tried. Because I've been through anxiety at times when my anxiety gets to me, even in like middle school, and people will be talking to me. I don't know what they're saying. You can talk to me with however you want. You're not getting through to me. I'm already all the way out, you know? So like, and I know that about myself. So
Right.
when all of a sudden all I'm hearing is, hey, maybe you should sit down somewhere. Maybe you should breathe a little bit. Maybe you should find a hobby or something to help you out with this. I know that's not me, and I know that's not anyone around me. So, I mean, common sense says
Right.
it's only one other person, that can actually get through my brain when nothing else does.
Right. No, that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. Um, let's give some practical like tools to the audience. Um,
Perfect.
hmm. What are qualities that you believe someone should have to be? I don't want to say a great counselor because there's gonna be times. I don't know if you have a therapist, but there's gonna be times where that person they piss you the ever loving f off. Like it's they're not gonna always feel good, right? But
Yeah.
what are qualities of a safe counselor? Somebody that you can trust with your humanity and in a lot of ways with your mind. What are traits and qualities that you think a counselor should have?
Okay. I would say patience, definitely. If a counselor is like not being patient with you, you should probably find a new one. A counselor that meshes with your personality is also, I think, a good um quality. What else? I think hmm I want to say like mindfulness, but I feel like, yeah, let me say mindfulness because some counselors are not that. Mindfulness, I think, is important when it comes to being a counselor,
Mm,
especially if you're dealing with somebody walking a life that you never had to, or if you don't know that life, you
right.
never had to be a part of that life. Being mindful of what they're going through and understanding that I don't understand what you're talking about. I don't understand what you've been through, but I'm gonna help
Okay.
you out as much as I can. If I can't help you out, oh, another quality I think a counselor should have is if they cannot help you, they should be refer you to somebody that can.
Right.
I don't know how well good counselors do that or how well they do that, but if they firmly believe that they cannot help you, they should refer to somebody who can. And if they don't, or if they don't, if they're like hey, oh, if they know that they can't help you and you're still working with them, it's like that's a disservice to you because you're not getting anything out of it. They may be getting something out of it, but not
Right.
as much. You need to move to somebody else. So a
Mm.
counselor that's mindful of the person and their life and mindful of their own credentials and their own expertise and what they're willing to work with, you should be they that's the whole thing. Um a counselor, another complete trustworthiness, I think, is another value or something value that counselors should have. Um, complete honesty, because when it comes to cognitive psychology, that's not positive. You got to tell the person the truth, whether they want to hear it or not. If that person goes into therapy and you break them with the truth and they get mad at you, it's like then you're not ready or you're not looking in the right places. I'm telling you about yourself. And if you're getting mad at me for telling you about yourself, then
Right.
maybe that's probably on you. So if a counselor doesn't tell you about yourself, you should probably dip to another one. Or if it doesn't like if they don't have you clutching your pearls or something, you probably need to go to another one. Or either that or like something like if they can't be completely trustworthy with you no matter what, you may have to bounce to another one. Um I would say being able to trying to think of a word. Um it's not mindful. It's like it's not respectful. It's well, yeah, respectful. That's another quality in a counselor. Respect. um Safety, definitely, because you're not going to talk if you don't feel safe,
Facts.
especially to a stranger, because these counselors at the end of the day are strangers and
Hmm.
they're people that are working. So if you got to feel safe around them. um I think that's a good amount of quality that I think would make a good counselor. Yeah. And like
You
good
said you would
vibes.
also ask me questions. You're allowed to ask me questions on here too, by the way, even though
Okay.
I'm interviewing you. But yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know
This is
what?
our
Since you
space.
said that, what qualities do you find in a counselor? What are some good qualities that you think?
So I feel like people are nuanced. So like somebody that aims to look. So this joke I use is context is my favorite. Context is my favorite color. Nuance is my niche, right? Like I'm a very
Mm,
nuanced individual, and I feel like context matters when it comes. It should matter specifically when it comes to therapists or counselors, because
of
if you
course.
don't know the who, what, when, where, and why, right? If you don't care about the who, what, when, and where, and why, not only how you're affected, but how these other people have affected you, how where these things come from, when these things take place, and how long these people have been dealing with these things. I just feel as if that you do people more of a disservice when you don't care about the nuance and the context. So I think caring about nuance and context matters because if you're not knowing what you're dealing with and you don't care about the gray, I think you could very easily miss out on somebody's humanity. And like I said, when it comes to this podcast, humanity matters. At least humanity should matter specifically when you're dealing with people. Not dealing, but when you're working with people. So
Mm,
but yeah, that's one that comes to mind. But also like, because we're two black, God-fearing people. Um Fam, if I talk to you about like, cause listen, I had this therapist and she did the best that she could.
mm.
It was this blue-eyed white woman out of Bel Air, believe it or
Oh, not
not.
the blue eye. No
Yeah, yeah,
pigment.
yeah. And she was the sweetest. I actually thought like she was one of my favorites, right? And not favorite white people, but favorite therapists.
Yeah, she could be both. She could be both.
That she could be both. But one of the things that especially when 2020 was taking place and like the many instances of black death were taking place, she was like, I
Mm,
understand that I do not understand. However, me holding space for you, I hope that's enough. She had Jesus in her life, right? Like she was a Christian as well. But I appreciated this. Like you can't even begin to relate when it comes to my experience, when it comes to this area. But how you minister to me is grounded in the same thing I'm grounded to. So I think
right.
having like
Self-awareness.
moral and spiritual like compatibility matters. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
I definitely agree with that. Self-awareness is another thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because if you
Right.
got to teach your clients self-awareness, you got to be self-aware yourself.
Right. Right. Don't come in.
So,
Don't come in and you in a bad mood because you constipated. It ain't my fault. You haven't pooped in a
right.
while. Right.
Exactly. Exactly. Go to
My
the
lord.
bathroom. God.
Go to
Take a,
bathroom.
take
Take a Miralax. I don't know.
yeah,
Like, shoot, for sure, for sure.
yeah,
Um.
whatever.
Okay. How could How much longer do I got you to get through this list? Because I can cut it short if
You know
need
what?
be.
You know what? You have as long as you need, kid. You have as long as you need.
All right. Well, I appreciate you because you could easily have told me like, all right, man, piss off, leave me alone. But I appreciate you respecting
Yeah,
your
yeah.
elders because I'm like prehistoric. Apparently, if your father's prehistoric,
Elders.
I'm at least Old Testament. My lord. So
Elders.
look, man, I'm 10 years older than you. I consider you a anyway. So specifically when it comes to maintaining your mental health, I feel like a lot of times, especially so I feel like especially in the church where we're not talking about like safeguarding and maintaining and nurturing your mental health. A lot of it comes with like acceptance, right? Oh, well, like
Mhm.
we should be graceful to people and we should always give grace to people. However, it's not my responsibility to it's not my responsibility to put up with you, right? So like if you're toxic and you know you're toxic and I know you're toxic and the congregation knows you're toxic, why do I have to give you access? So
Right.
I painted that picture to say, what are some what are some red flags that we typically ignore in people for the sake of being graceful outside of maintaining healthy relationships when it comes to the church?
Oh man.
Yep.
Uh All right.
Yeah.
This
I
is
told
a
listen,
disclaimer.
I told you we were
Disclaimer.
gonna get deep.
Disclaimer. Right, right. No, I'm not talking about that. Disclaimer is I can still cut people out pretty easy. I give people grace, not that much. So if
Right.
somebody gives me a red flag, they're already out. If you're in the congregation, then I'm just not going to speak to you. You can speak to me and I'll be cordial, but that's about it. I'm blocking your number. But when it comes to but when it comes to red flags that I see in the church, nosiness. Nosiness. I'm telling you, nobody in the church knows how to mind their business.
Christians are nosy?
And I know this.
What?
Who knew that? Who knew? Who knew? Oh my
Interesting.
god! I feel like I should get a Nobel Prize for just dropping that crazy fact that no one's heard of. No, but I feel like
At
church
least a
people are
Pulitzer.
incredibly nosy. Pulitzer.
At least a
You know,
Pulitzer.
matter of fact, induct me to the Hall of Fame. You know,
My
but
lord.
I feel like nosiness is a big thing. I'm gonna tell you an example would be my family. Actually, my family we don't tell people everything. We don't everything that we it's like we're very private when it comes to the church. When it comes to anybody, that includes people in the church. Because my parents, even though it's a congregation and they do trust everyone, they don't trust everyone. I don't know if that makes sense, but it does to me. So I'm gonna keep it at that.
Nah, I
So
got you.
like I remember when it came to talking to my mom about certain things or like telling them or asking, or we would have conversations about our experiences, good and bad, in the church. And one of those is people would think that my mom was a terrible mom because we sat down and listened, right? My mom is a great mom. Let's get that. She's the best mom. I would never want another mother, right? But like
And she
people
always got
just
your back if your breath stink. A little passive aggressive about it, but cause I got privy to it real quick. Cause I first came to visit the church and I was like, nah, you ain't
what
about
did
to
she
get me
say?
this time. I'm gonna make sure I brush my teeth. Shoot,
Oh man.
she quick with the breath, Miss Boy. My God.
No, wait. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. That's just the thing. That may not
No.
be your.
Nah, listen. My tonsils were fighting me because my breath was humming that day. So I know that was her way of being like, look, kid, I love you. You're like that spiritual son I never asked for. but your breath is kicking like Chun Li off a Street Fighter. Can you please anoint your mouth with this breath mint, please?
Breath is like Bruce Lee right now. Goodness.
Shoot.
No.
Mm-mm-mm.
No, but yeah, my mom, she's a great mom. But because she didn't, either we didn't run around or she didn't tell anybody about how she raised us or a good amount of how she raised us. She didn't tell everyone about the bad stuff I guess we were doing around that time, you know? So everyone just thought that she was a terrible mom and either we were a military family or not. It was like they would just ask all these questions like, how are you, like, are you a good mom? It's like, yeah, she's a good mom. She she does what a mom is supposed to do when it comes to
She don't
raising
play with you
kids.
folk like that.
She don't play. She does not play, and that's just how it is. That's how moms kind of are. That's how moms are supposed to be, you know. But you know, a lot of times when it comes to just nosiness, it's like that's like a huge red flag. And when it comes to the black church, I feel like nosiness is not. You can't escape that. The red flag that I would look out for is people that try to force you to talk because of their nosiness or because they like to gossip, especially the people that you know will tell your business to somebody else in a heartbeat. Cause man, I'm telling you right now, there are people that try to interrogate me like I was in a freaking police station and like they caught me doing something I was supposed to be doing. All of a sudden, where were you last night at 9 p.m.? That's how it feels. And they're
Right.
like talking to me about all this stuff, like, oh, how are your parents? Oh, what are they doing right now? What are you doing right now? Nothing. Like I can't tell them anything
Right.
because it's like at the entire church will know in 2 seconds. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's just like when it comes to that nosiness, it's like as long you can't nosiness is just gonna be a thing. You have to figure out who is the gossip girls. You got to figure out who can't keep their mouth shut. And if they talk to you, tell them the bare minimum or nothing at all.
Nah,
It's like that.
you're speaking facts. I just think it's funny because man, it was Pastor Webb, man. Pastor Webb said something. He set me free by this. He said, no, listen. I don't care what nobody said. Pastor Webb is probably
Period.
in my top 5 of pastors. I'll tell you what, because I had
Period.
I was I was actually sharing this with your father when I first visited Rooted, and one of the things that I was sharing with him, I was like, yeah, I've gone through this season of, if you want to say like suffering in a sense, and yeah, like it was hard for me because it's just like, okay, I'm going through suffering. And then I realized like the type of people I was keeping around me, right? And I think it was the second service I've been to, and Pastor Webb was like, if I need some real friends, right? Don't bring me people that if I share something with you in private and you put it in the prayer chain, like in the prayer group chat.
Don't
Like
tell me, like, pray for
when
my
he
friend.
when he said that, I was like, no, like we do that in the church though. Like, you know, like it'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
we need to pray for I don't know if you know, I don't know if there's a Sister B Anthony in our church. But we like, oh, we need to pray for Sister B Anthony. Oh, what's happening? Well, you know, her granddaughter back on the pole again. And Jeffrey, her grandson Jeffrey. Jeffrey out here selling perks again on North Ave and Baltimore City. We just need to pray for it. It's like,
You just airing out everything.
why was any of that our business? You could have easily just left it with, can we pray for Sister B Anthony? Like what, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? And
Right.
I haven't experienced that yet, you know, because I'm pretty guarded. I really only rock with y'all. And I sit in our little
Period.
Rosa Parks section at the Kenji bench. But yeah,
We used to be closer. I'm happy we're not. I'm telling you right now, I feel way less eyes on me because everyone's eyes have to be on the front and not the back.
that is
So,
nuts. That
like when I tell you the influence that my parents have,
mm-hmm.
it's they're like at the top, one
Yeah.
percenters of influence. The amount of people that had their eyes on us when we sat in the front, I felt I felt like security cameras again, police station. Like I was about to get a mugshot and people are staring at me crazy. So, man,
Why would you get
that's
a mugshot though?
Hmm?
What in the world? What in the world do you get into that you gonna get in a mugshot? Huh?
Honestly, I don't. Nothing.
Don't. Hey, this
Nothing.
is anything that is said
Nothing.
on here could be used in a court of law.
I know. Yeah, I was about to say nothing. Nothing.
Oh shoot.
Don't lie to me. Nothing. I didn't say
Mm,
anything.
that is nuts. That is nuts,
Never
man.
mind. Never mind.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, Sid, I'm about to get you out of here, so we're gonna hit you with some quick hitters, and that
Period.
usually means like we ask you a bunch of this or that or this. We ask like what your favorite color is. Yeah, I'm kidding.
Period.
I don't care what your favorite color is. I'm sorry.
You know what?
That's
Period. I love that for you. I love that for you.
Shoot. Oh my lord. So yeah, I'm gonna yeah. So let's get you out of here because I know you're a busy woman. So let's hit it with the quick hitters. What's one
Okay.
Bible verse that has carried you recently in this season of your life?
Huh. Man. Honestly, it may sound stupid or something, but the Bible verse, man, I completely forgot where this Bible verse is. Don't mind that. Just listen to
No,
my
it's okay.
words.
You're just a daughter of a deacon. That's okay. You know, no shame in your game, man. Like, you know.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
Period. The Jesus wept.
Okay.
That is the entire Bible verse. I
All right.
cannot tell you where it is. I know it was when when he resurrected Lazarus, like you said, he cried for his friend right before he resurrected him. That's when Jesus wept, right? And that's been carrying me through this time because it for a very long time I didn't crying is not a thing that I do. I don't like to do it. It's been very hard for me to do my entire life. And that verse kind of carries me as like, if Jesus wept, so can I. And saying that to myself all the
Somebody
time
said,
recently.
shout out to one of my homies from Instagram said 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 22.
Period. See, that's
Yeah.
why we need community. Period.
Yes, for sure.
Period.
For sure.
So yeah, that's the verse that's been carrying me.
Okay. All right. Where's my second where's my other quick hitter? See, I wish I could show you what my screen looks like. It's too much. I'm having like a
No, I'd probably get overstimulated. I'd rather not know.
no, something on your feed, and I'll tell you which one it was. Something on your IG feed overstimulated me in 2 seconds. I was like, I'm about to not let her come on this podcast.
What?
What
I don't
is
post anything.
Nah, I'll tell you which one it was. You're gonna be like, no, that makes sense.
Okay. All right. All right.
What is a book? Okay, what is a book every Christian should read besides the Bible?
There is a series by Ted Decker. There's Green, Black, White, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
basically a fantasy series based off the Bible
Right.
that I think every Christian should read because I think it'll help strengthen your faith. I also think it'll just help you switch your perspectives on how you can perceive the Bible because
Mm-hmm.
just because your pastor perceives it one way doesn't mean you have to perceive it that way. If
Right.
figuring out if reading books or reading or doing something else kind of helps you perceive the Bible and its truths better, like figure that out. But a fantasy a fantasy series by Ted Decker, Green, Black, White, I love it, and I think all Christians should read it.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Tea, most definitely.
What kind of tea is your bag though? What tea is your bag though?
I like peach tea, fruit tea. I also love boba tea.
Okay.
That's my.
Somebody
I
said
love.
so 47 it's 48 laws of power Rocky. But nah, I've read 48 Laws of Power. It's not a bad book. You know, it
Mm.
teaches you how to deal with people, you know what I'm saying? I also I don't know if you read this book, Sid, The Body Keeps the Score. That's I feel like is a perfect book when it comes to those that are in the mental health space. It talks a lot about like how you know how like your phone keeps track of every like, you know, keystrokes, taps, everything it does. Our bodies are the
Yeah,
same way. Like our bodies are
absolutely. It
probably
does.
yeah. So it talks a lot about like how your body remembers trauma quicker than your brain would. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Absolutely, it does.
yeah. I have a physical copy When I find it, I'll bring it to you. I got you.
Okay,
But yeah,
period, period,
that's
period.
another one. Me, I'm more of a iced coffee. I can't drink hot coffee anymore. I'll throw up. I don't know what
Oh
it
yeah,
is.
I don't like hot coffee.
Call me a wuss. I drink hot coffee and I get nauseous. It never used to
And
happen like that until my daughter was born. I'm not sure what that's about,
mm,
but yeah, that's I don't know. Maybe
me,
I need to
I
find a
don't,
therapist
I don't
just for
know.
that. Uh introvert
And
or
I can't drink hot
extrovert?
coffee.
Yeah, yeah,
Introvert,
yeah.
absolutely. To the
You're pretty
it's
extroverted when it comes
introvert.
to me. I would say
I
so.
know you. I know that's because I know you. If we were in a mall, you'd figure it out in like 2 seconds. I'm telling you right now. It's to the point where it's like crippling. I can't talk to nobody.
That
It's if we were anywhere else, if we were anywhere else, you would know. I am an introvert.
wow. That's a doggone shame. That is a doggone
What you
shame.
mean, doggone shame?
Nothing.
I think it's
Nothing.
great.
Okay. What's something people misunderstand? Well, we already kind of encompassed that. What's unhabit? What's one habit everyone should develop? That's an
How
interesting
to
one.
mind your business. Because they ask too many questions. I don't know where my sister is. I don't know where my parents are. Stop asking.
Dang. All right. I know that's right.
Period.
Shoot. Right.
Period. How to
Exclamation point.
mind your business. Mind your business.
um.
Please and thank you.
mm. What brings you joy as of lately in this season in your life?
Oh man. My hobbies definitely bring me joy. I've been learning a whole bunch of new things about myself. Learning has been bringing me a lot of joy. Um, yeah, I mean, my family definitely brings me a lot of joy. Um, and like I said, learning about myself because I'm in a transitional period and I'm learning a whole lot. And it's a
Mm.
really interesting thing. It's a really interesting thing. So yeah, that's
Okay.
bringing me joy.
All right. Um. Hmm. What's the difference between peace and happiness?
Peace is something sacred that you need to work towards to get. Happiness, I feel like, is a momentary thing. Once you get peace, happiness will come with it. I feel like that's kind of how I feel about it. Peace is peace is being okay with yourself for
Hmm.
a very long period of time. Being able to be with yourself and have fun with yourself without needing somebody else to be fun. That's peace. Happiness would be a feeling that can be fleeting and probably is. Yeah, that's a
Hmm.
difference.
That that was such a. I've never called this man that before, but that's such a come on Nikenji response. But
You know
okay,
what?
I'm a
You know what?
look like
You
your
know
mama,
what?
look like your mama, but talk like your daddy. That's all I gotta say.
Wait a minute.
Shoot.
I don't know if I should take that as an insult
Nah,
or if I
you
should
look like
run
your
with it.
mama. I told you look just like your mom. You guys could be
Look, that's
twins.
not the insult. The insult is you bringing
You
up my
talk,
dad.
you
That's
talk
the
like your
insult.
daddy. You talk like your daddy. What's wrong with your daddy?
You know
I think he's
what?
a wonderful man of God. He's one of my
All
favorites.
right. That's what you think. That's what you think.
You know, I can't look, man. You better chill out because I don't know if you pay rent, but stop. I'm trying to make sure you don't have to continue. You don't have to continue. Shoot, a little butter for the bread. It ain't bad.
All
Shoot.
right. All right. All right. You
Um,
know what? Sure. Sure.
what is your favorite way to spend a Sabbath?
A Sabbath?
Yes, ma'am.
Sleeping and going to church. Oh, and also video games. I love playing video games, and that's
What
what I do.
systems do you have? I didn't know you
Honestly.
game, girl.
I have a PC. Um,
I'm not there
I'm
yet.
mainly on EA and Steam.
I'm not there yet.
Uh oh.
Nah, it's just it's not that. It's not that. It's just I barely played my 5 and my Series X. I need to get my life together. So, but
Oh.
my
You better
homies have been
learn
telling
out.
me I need to get Steam. Check out
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you like third person shooter games. Check out Helldivers. I'm building a squad. It's a
Helldivers.
Yes. Yeah, I know that sounds nuts considering we've been talking about like, Jesus and like, mental health and diving into hell. But yeah. I like the game.
You know what? It's more on point than I think we'd like to realize. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
for
check
sure.
that out. Also, you should get on Steam because Steam is great. They always
Okay.
have what is it? They always have sales, and they are like on. They're on point when it comes to your account, and if anyone tries to mess with it, so
Gotcha.
get on Steam. I would recommend it.
Okay. At the Kid Casper podcast, my username handle is Lead with Love or Mr. Lead with Love. What does that phrase mean to you by chance?
Lead with love.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Honestly, I'm gonna put an analogy on this. So when it comes to wolves, a pack of wolves, the leader of the pack is normally a couple yards behind to make sure that everyone stays together and everyone, leads together. That's kind of what lead with love means to me. Being able to stay at the back of the pack to make sure everyone that you care about is together and no one gets left behind. That's what leading with love means to me.
Okay. You're not
Yeah.
beating these. You're not beating these Commander Kenji
You
allegations.
know
I hope you
what?
know that.
You would never say that. He would never say that. He doesn't think fast enough. He doesn't think fast enough.
Wow, yo, listen. He's got my number, right? He's gonna be texting me like,
He's
"Look,
got mine too. He's got mine
you live
too.
with him, of course." He's gonna be like, "Yo, edit this ish out. She ain't gonna talk about me like this." My lord, if you could encourage the person who's silently struggling today, what would you say to them?
I would say there's a very high chance that what you're dealing with, a lot of other people are dealing with. Do not go at your pace. Don't think that because everyone is doing better means that everyone is putting on a facade, or pretty much everyone's putting on a facade. Don't look at other people and think that they're doing better than you, especially offer it. You're doing great. Go at your pace. And if you need someone, talk to someone, please. That's that's what I would say.
Right. Okay. Okay. Um. Let's see. We got a couple more. You know what? What's one lie the enemy tells believers about mental health? Go ahead. This is your floor.
Oh.
This is your 60 minutes.
Oh my goodness. 60 minutes. I would say he would say to believers that it's a demon, like we were talking about. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's not. It's really not. It's like we have talked about earlier. Mental health is not a demon. It's kind of how your brain functions. Your brain functioning a different way doesn't make you a demon. It makes you a person.
Right.
So like, yeah, like mental health is not a demon. You going out and looking for outside resources doesn't make you any less of a believer. It doesn't make you demonic. It doesn't mean that you have zero faith. It just means, yeah, I mean, it just means that you need some help. It's okay to ask for help. Asking for help about mental health doesn't make it demonic.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's I think a lie. Getting help is not demonic. Mental health is not demonic.
Right.
And listen to people that know about it because you may see yourself in it.
Right.
That's
For
what I
sure.
would say.
For sure. Second to last question. This is my last question. I have more so
Mhm.
a favor for you to do afterwards. If there's
Okay.
anybody you would like to see on the Kid Casper podcast, who would it be? But your answer's got to be somebody you could get on here, essentially.
Oh.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Um.
Why is this so hard for you?
Well, okay. Wait a minute. I'm trying to think. I don't know that many people, Casper. Come
Okay.
on.
I've had your dad on.
Uh-huh.
I've had you on.
Right.
I think I've only talked to Olivia maybe once. If that. There's people you know. What the heck?
I'm trying to figure out who I know.
It's so easy. It's almost like the easiest answer you ever need to come up with.
Well, obviously it isn't. I'm over here pausing.
Oh
I'm
my
trying to
God.
figure out
We
if
talked about
I
her.
asked them.
The one with the mints, the one that be chucking the mints in people's face if they breath stinks. Like, that's a good answer. Like,
My
my
mother?
Lord. Yes, your mother. What the heck?
You know what? I don't know how she'd be on this podcast. I really
I feel
don't.
like she'd be great.
You know, okay. My mother. My
Okay.
mother.
Yeah, man. Come on, man. The matriarch to the Nikenji household. What the heck?
All right.
I feel like that'd be fire.
Okay.
What in the
You know
world?
what? That's your prerogative. We love that for you.
Did you watch
Honestly,
the episode that we did with your pops? I thought the one we did with your pops was cool.
It was. I just like my mom and my dad are two completely different people. That's all. I don't know how
Right.
it's not your podcast or it's like podcast in general.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Well, look at it as like we're just talking, and that's basically, once you get past that mind realm, it's pretty easy. But anyway,
Yeah. I mean, okay,
Sister
then my mom.
yeah,
My
for
mom.
sure, Sister Sydney, thank you for coming through and engaging in this conversation with me. If there's any closing regards, any last words that you would want to impart to the audience, now is your time. What you got for her?
Oh, okay. Well, mental health is important. If you or a loved one is going through that, please refer them to somebody. Mental health is important. Don't it's I think it's just as important as physical health.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, also mind your business. If no one wants to say anything, don't force them to start talking. If you see an introvert, don't force them into a circle. There's a 90% chance they want to be by themselves. That 10% is like slim. Don't let the introvert be by themselves. Yeah, we're good.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This was a movie. I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. This is probably one of my favorites. Not going to tell you who's my least favorite. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Sid, you're welcome back here anytime. Anytime you want to just, whether we're having like conversations or group thought, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like you more than, you know what I'm saying? I think you more than carried your own in this space. Thank you, everybody, for watching and tuning in. I will be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Always remember, you are beautiful, blessed, and beloved. Raisins, hold on real quick. Can I zoom in real quick? Let me see. Hold on real quick, because this is triggering for me. Okay. Raisins still don't go on potato salad. Did you know? Hold on real quick. Let me call out this heresy real quick. Sydney, did you know that people put doggone walnuts in potato salad? That's a thing.
Walnuts and potato salad. Who? What kind of Karen did that? What?
This was a sister. A sister put walnuts in.
A sister? See, I thought it was someone from the other side. What you mean, sister?
No.
You heard raisins and potato salad. Now get ready for walnuts.
No,
what
and
is this?
her name was like hella African. That's what made it worse. Raisins don't go in potato salad, and Jesus wasn't white. Do me a favor. Have a good night.